disincrustation pulls out from the skin. Iontophoresis pushes into the skin and infuses the product into the skin. So you would want to use disincrustation on an oily or client with a lot of comedones. Now, what happens with this is disincrustation, it uses negatively charged products. Negatively charged products are alkaline products, alkaline pH products. The process is called saponification, okay, and it's probably going to be a test question, I'm sure, either a chapter test question or it's going to be on your state board. Yes, I'm sure it is, okay, saponification. So how does it work? Well, I don't know where the electrodes to these machines are. I looked and looked and looked. So I'm going to use this, even though this is not quite the same thing, it'll give you the idea. Okay. Hold. Now, what happens with galvanic current? Opposites attract, right? So if the product you're using, the disincrustation solution, is a negative solution, the client has to hold the positive electrode. Now, the client can actually hold the electrode in her hand, or you can place it underneath her shoulder, as long as there's, because remember, she's not going to have a shirt on or anything, but electricity travels through that would travel through that anyway. But as long as there's contact with the skin, because what you're doing is now you're putting on a negative solution. This being on her skin is going to attract the opposite. So it's going to attract the sodium in the disincrustation solution to do its job. How you will do that is you'll take a cotton, either cotton or a small piece of towel or whatever. You will wet it, wring it out, and wrap it around here. And then put it underneath the client's shoulder. You will then take the disincrustation solution and you will take a cotton pad, nice size, soak it in the solution, squeeze it out, and you will wrap it around the positive electrode. So you'll wrap it all around. You will then take your disincrustation solution and you will put it on your client's face. Their face, if they neck, chest, if that is all oily. If you're just concentrating and the face is what's oily, and then just do the face. You could even just spot this if you want. Once it's all brushed onto the face, and this is wrapped, you will then turn your galvanic current on, okay? And once the electrodes are already in its place, red and black, once you turn it on, it knows what it's doing. So the galvanic would go on, and like I said, I don't know where the electrodes are, so, and you can increase the electricity. So you can make it higher, you can make it lower, whatever you need to do. And what you're going to do with this now is you're going to run it along the client's face. Take all that loose, liquefied oil and comedones and dirt and debris off her face, because everything should be totally liquefied and really easy to get out at this point. So it should really be fantastic to clean that skin. And that's why it's so beneficial for oily skin or for deep impacted comedones, or if you see a client has a lot of comedones, okay? So that would be disincrustation. Iontophoresis is for the infusion of products. It's usually used on dry, mature skin, but it could be used on all skin types, because you could use it now at the end of your facial, what you just did, getting all the oil out of the client. Okay, so what you're really doing, you're stripping the client, okay? It's really cleaning, getting a deep, deep cleaning because of the electrical current. It's going much deeper than what we can do with the steamer and exfoliation. So it's going a lot deeper. So now you would want to maybe infuse some products to help that skin now. Iontophoresis works with water-soluble products. Water-soluble products are positively charged and they're acidic. Things like hyaluronic acid, excellent for this, excellent. Others type of things are very good for this. Certain serums for dry skin, vitamin C acidic, right? Things like that. Okay, so it's good for these kind of products to infuse these products deeper into the skin, and it's getting deep because of the electrical current. And you will do the same thing. You will now have the client hold, because this is a positive product, the client's going to hold the negative electrode, and you as the esthetician are going to hold the negative, okay? Because that's what you're doing, getting it to attract to each other. You will use the same process. Soak the cotton, wrap it, put it under the shoulder. You will also wrap the probe that you're going to use on the client, the same thing. And you will put that on their face. So if you're using hyaluronic acid, if you're using vitamin C serum, if you're using collagen, a collagen serum, whatever you're using, you will put it on their face first, and then you will use the electrode. Okay? So this is a great way of using a current for oily skin. It's a great way for inducing products into the skin. The reason we don't really use it too much is because it is electricity. See, with everything else that we just talked about here, we've had kind of a safe zone, all right? You're not really introducing electricity into the body. Other than the high frequency machine, which they say that you have to be careful with certain contraindications with the client, but it's not really very detrimental, things that you would have to really be nervous and worried about. Now you're getting into the worry zone. So before you were even to use the galvanic machine, 100% you would need a client intake form. You would have to have that client fill out that form. You would have to look it over, and the form would have to be signed by the client. So your regular client intake forms, if you don't see anything major on it, it's fine. You're just going to take it and you're going to put it in their file. But if you're using electricity, you have to have them sign it. It's like a release form. Okay, you may even, a salon may even, or you can have, if it's your salon, a separate consent form, that you're using the galvanic machine and that they understand maybe the risks involved with the fact that it's going to introduce electricity into their body. All right? Even though, let's say the client is perfectly healthy, maybe there is an underlying problem that the client doesn't even know about. And then the introduction of this electricity could cause them to have a problem. And I want to read to you some of the things before we even get into the microcurrent machine, the things that can, the contraindications of using electricity on a client. Metal implants. So if a client has any sort of metal implant, any part of the body, this could be a problem.
Alexander, remember Alexander?
Yes, and somebody used electricity on her, right? Another thing is, even if you're perfectly fine and healthy, because when I went to school, we had to try this galvanic machine. We weren't forced to, but she said, if you're healthy or whatever, we'd like you to try. We'd like you to feel how it feels. So I'm healthy. I said, yeah, okay, I'll try it. And everything was fine, except for the fact that I had a metal taste in my mouth, and the inside of my cheeks were raw, like the skin was like raw. It hurt so badly. No, yes, because what happened is, who knows what the chemistry of my body was for that day? Who knows what my hormones were that day? So all this has an effect on your chemistry. It has an effect on your saliva. So what's happening, maybe I had a high salt content or something. Who knows, but what happened, it affected me and it bothered me. My mouth was bothering me for a few days. So it was annoying. It was annoying to me. If a client has a pacemaker, absolutely not. Of course, you'll electrical charge will just knock the pacemaker out. If a client has braces, you can't. If a client has a heart condition, you can't. Epilepsy, you'll bring on a seizure. If the client has any kind of seizure problems at all, not even epilepsy, you can't. Pregnancy, Absolutely not. The electrical current, I mean, God forbid, you could bring on a birth. High blood pressure, you could raise the blood pressure. Infection of any kind, because you can actually, with the electrical current, spread the infection through the blood circulation. Okay? Diabetes, wounds, any sort of wounds or inflamed pustules or broken skin. So if you see a client has any of that, and it doesn't have to be just on the area you're working on, you can't use electricity. Couperose, which is the thin, veiny, broken blood vessels in the face, okay? The electricity, well, because it dilates the blood vessels. So by dilating the blood vessels, you can have a problem, and it will just make it worse. Rosacea, chronic migraines. The electricity could trigger something, and the client could leave, could get a migraine on the table. Cancer. And the reason with cancer is because the electrical, again, currents can cause through the lymphatic system, through the blood circulation, it could cause it to travel, okay? And any recent surgeries that the client has had, any sort of recent surgery, you can't use it. And chemical peels, all right? Because there could be a reaction. I mean, if a client had a chemical peel a month ago, it's all right. But I'm saying if the client had a chemical peel recently, no, you shouldn't be using it. And besides, you definitely shouldn't be using disincrustation on a client who had any sort of chemical peel. You know, maybe they want to have the iontophoresis because they want like a hyaluronic acid infused into their skin to bring more moisture. But if they just had a chemical peel, you can't put the electricity. So there are a lot of reasons why you can't use electricity, as good as it may be. So this is directly infused in, directly going into the client, the things we're talking about now, all right? So that is the galvanic current machine.